Hi everyone, greetings from Nottingham. My name is Madin Adera and welcome to this first video of my YouTube channel called Pak Madi's Diary. This channel is dedicated to everything about British life and institution viewed from the perspective of an Indonesian living in the United Kingdom. I can trace my interest in British life and institution back to my undergraduate life 30 years ago. A lot has happened since then, and I only have the opportunity to actually live and study in the UK later in life, but my interest remains. I'm so lucky to benefit from the excellent education here, and I would like to share it with all of you. And I want many more Indonesians to have the same opportunity to study and live here. Apologies for the basic look and sound of this first video. The idea is just to get it off the ground as quickly as possible. This video is about British life and institution. While issue of decolonization remains salient, unfortunately, it is not within the scope of this channel. So, if you expect to find a lengthy discussion on that particular matter, I suppose it must have been dealt with somewhere else. But you are more than welcome to stay. My idea to create this channel actually came from the BBC program in the 90s called Letter from America, which was hosted by Alistair Cook, a BBC correspondent living in the States back then, who religiously sent these audio dispatches on everything that happened in the US in that particular week for over 60 years. Yes, you heard me correctly, 60 years. And he himself is almost an institution for that matter. All of his dispatches were then compiled into a book, Letter from America 1946 and 2004, which is now available in Amazon for £3. I suggest that you start ordering it now because it's a very interesting book. Now, I actually listened to the BBC quite a lot since I was an undergrad. It was called the BBC World Service, and it was my window to the world. And as an English teacher, I can recommend that BBC is a good source of material for teaching and learning. This week marked the end of the Elizabethan era after the Queen passed away. And now we live in what they call Carolean England, where King Charles III now reigns. You might wonder what all this barrage of fawning, the bread and circuses got to do with me, someone who is obviously not Her Majesty's subject. Yes, I'm living in the country now. Yes, I was granted chevening scholarships from Her Majesty's government. But what is it with me? The reason probably is she is the only queen I know for all my life. For those with a certain age, you will know what I'm talking about. Back in the 1980s, where my access to television was limited to the Indonesian national television, her face is just as familiar as Margaret Thatcher's and Ronald Reagan's and Mikhail and Rais's, the Gorbachevs, and all the bread and butter of international news at 9. But what strikes me as interesting as someone who is interested in history, lifestyle, and fashion is her ability to exploit the visuals and the use of the visual media, either in black and white, monochromatic, or later on in color. And I actually have written something about it in a column recently published in CNN Indonesia, so you could check it later on. Now, the first thing I want to say about her use of visual is that her choice of television as a medium to broadcast the life of the royal family in the 1960s was very successful. The message was that the royal family, although they are more privileged than the rest of us, is actually a real family with all their problems, disagreement, and all those sorts of things you are bound to have in a family. And as she was a petite lady, her team needed to make sure that she is visible among those crowd. And choice of color in her fashion then is the strategy. Her choice of color is impeccable, as you know, she never set any foot wrong, even as she was dressed in this bold harlequin colors or purple when she was inaugurating her Elizabeth line in London. And this is then matched with hats, sets of jewelries, tiaras, and the black loner handbag, making her the most recognizable woman on the British are known for their ability to stage this massive scale of pageantry, pomp and circumstance, as they put it, and Her Majesty knew it so well. Even in her final act, in her state funeral, she managed to promote this brand Britain. Brand Britain is a form of soft power that is unfortunately gradually losing its luster after the mess created by this combination of COVID, Brexit, and all the Tory wrangling. But she's all above that. She is the only constant, the stability. No wonder then the outpour of grief during the mourning weeks was immense. Carpets of floral tributes from Sandringham to Buckingham, from Windsor Castle to Balmoral, and from the beach of Cornwall to Sydney Opera House and the Empire State Building, which was lit up with her image. I believe this is how she's made familiar to us who are living now in the age of the visuals. We all consume her images, but possibly only a fraction of all the 20 billion of her images in paintings, portraits, coins, and works of arts, from Warhol to Banksy, and all sorts of memorabilia that is actually visual in nature. I wish I have the means to show the rich tapestry of visuals used to immortalize her and make her a figure that we think we know. But then all the search engines are there, and what you need to do now is to go online and enjoy all the glories of the unrivaled 70 years of reign, all captured in stunning visuals. That's it for this first episode. I hope you have enjoyed that as much as I have enjoyed making it for you. I will be back next week with more dispatches on what is interesting in the British life and institution. Until then, take care.